Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So as you know, Dan is always in a good mood because with every bit of rain comes a rainbow. After every darkness, there's sunshine. And it also goes back to something my grandfather told me when I was just a young pup, growing up in South Texas. And for those of you who don't know, I was raised by my grandfather, right? So it's not like my parents abandoned me, but they had a restaurant, worked two jobs. And anybody who's ever owned a restaurant, when that restaurant says they're open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., no. They're in there at 5, 6 a.m., and they're out of there at 11 midnight. It's just how it works. And remember, most restaurants do the majority of their business on the weekends, and when are kids free from school? On the weekends. But the last thing he ever told me is he said, son, every day you open your eyes, you should be happy. And so I try to live up to that. And so what's made Dan happy today is a article from the Post Millennial. And I have no idea why no other news network picked this up, because it's all been about, AOC says she was sexually abused, and this reminded her of that. Here's my problem with Congress, with the Capitol Hill thing. First of all, you don't storm Capitol Hill and expect not to go to jail, because you're going to jail. But, Congress, these are the very same people that send young men and women to, in the worst case, die, in the least case, to get PTSD, lose a limb, have their families destroyed, because they want to make profit. That's all it's about. Profit in foreign countries. That's ridiculous. But that's what they do, and they care nothing about them. But you see, when they were attacked, now they got the National Guard. 25,000 armed troops. Nancy Pelosi wanted machine guns. AOC says all the Republicans are trying to kill her, and we should throw them out of government. What we're witnessing now is a hostile takeover. I keep saying Democrats are the Nazi party. That's what the Nazis did. They claimed the other party was physically dangerous, and they threw them out of government, and that's what AOC is trying to do. But let me bring you this article from the Post Millennial. So this is from the postmillennial.com, and it says, AOC wasn't in the Capitol building at the time of the January 6th riot. She was in another building entirely, which from what I hear about her, she's never on the floor. She has the least time on the floor of any congressional member. Think about that. Stop letting millennials run the country. It's just getting ridiculous. Or if you are some country-raised millennials. So the article goes on to say, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York. Because if you call it AOC, you're a racist. So from here on in, I will be referring to her as AOC. Has spoken at length about her experience during the Capitol Hill riot on January 6th. From her live Instagram videos, it has seemed like she was on the front line, facing down Trump-supporting rioters in the halls outside her office. Remember, she does verify that. She says she was in the bathroom in her office. So she verified this. I was kind of wondering if this was fake news. But then I looked at it, it's like, no, she said, I saw the video. She said she was in her office in the bathroom. But it turns out Ocasio-Cortez wasn't in the Capitol at the time of the assault on Congress. She was in her office, another building entirely. Ocasio-Cortez's congressional office is in the Cannon House office building, according to her website. Her Washington, D.C. address is 229 Cannon HOB. The Cannon HOB is accessible to the Capitol via tunnel. We all know those tunnels are heavily guarded and heavily secured. You've watched the History Channel. On Tuesday, Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, spoke to millions of fans on Instagram relaying her past experience of sexual assault, which she said left her traumatized. This experience, she said, was compounded by what happened to her during the Capitol Hill riot. Okay, so, hey, if she was sexually assaulted, man, that's unfortunate. I feel bad for her. No woman should have to go through that. No person should have to go through that. Man, I hope they caught whoever did it, and I hope there's a good police report on that. Representative Nancy Mace, Republican, South Carolina, said that her office is in the same hallway as Ocasio-Cortez, 2 doors down, and that there were no rioters in that area at any time. She called out the New York representative for her egregious claims. And this is Representative Nancy Mace's Twitter. She goes, at AOC made clear she didn't know who was at her door. Breathless attempts by media to fan fictitious news flames are dangerous. My office is 2 doors down. 2 doors down. Insurrectionists never stormed our hallway. Egregious doesn't even begin to cover it. Is there nothing MSM, mainstream media, won't politicize? The article goes on to say, taking emotion out of the equation, it appears that what happened was that Ocasio-Cortez was in her office in a building on Congressional campus at the time the Capitol building was unlawfully assessed by a mob of violent rioters seeking to disrupt Congress. Ocasio-Cortez was afraid in her office in another building and hid in the bathroom. A short time later, as she was hiding in the bathroom, a Capitol Hill police officer... Has anybody named this Capitol Hill police officer? What's his race? Because every time I watch her video, I keep thinking, I bet this was a black guy. Anyway, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. A Capitol Hill police officer came to her office and checked on her safety, directing her where to go to be evacuated from any impending danger. She did not trust the officer's intention, but complied with his directive, took her handbag, and left her office. Or probably $10,000 handbag, which is actually your handbag because that handbag came out of taxpayer money. You can bet on it. Along with the members of her staff who similarly did not trust the officer. Then find your own way out. It's that simple. Ocasio-Cortez said the officer was looking at me with all this... Hold on. I'm going to back up. Let me back up. So I'm going to do this in her voice. Ocasio-Cortez said the officer was looking at me with all this anger and hostility. At first in my brain and in my mind, I just came from this super intense experience just now. Maybe I'm reading into this right. Maybe I'm projecting something onto him that maybe I'm just sensing anger, but maybe he's not trying to be angry. But I talked to my legislative director, and he said no. I didn't know if he would help us or hurt us either. And he was actually like, this man came with so much hostility that, she said that her staffer was sizing him up to see if he would have to fight him. Guess what? Your staffer's not winning that fucking fight. Shut the fuck up. Gotta be joking me. She compared this experience to so many other communities in this country where you don't know if you're safe or not. You mean like any black community where BLM and Antifa are, burning down stores, running people out of their homes, harassing people at restaurants, showing up at people's doorsteps, 30 deep, demanding they get out. Is that what you're talking about, AOC? The officer told her where to go, and she said, oh, I gotta clear my voice for this. We were just so rattled in that moment, and the situation felt so volatile with the officer that I ran over, I grabbed my handbag, and we just started running over to that building. In that view, many members of the GOP, both in the House and Senate, are using the same tactics as abusers. Oh, God dang it. One more time. This is a short article, so this is probably the last time. In her view, many members of the GOP, both in the Senate and the House, are, to quote AOC, using the same tactics as abusers. And she fears that they will do it again. Ocasio-Cortez later said that she believed her colleagues in the GOP were white supremacists who she feared would allow others to do harm to her. Do you mean like the Democrats are doing right now by gutting the Second Amendment? They're allowing criminals, and they're letting criminals out of prison by the boatload. They're allowing criminals to do harm to you and your family. But she's so special, she has to be protected. But you're not special. And when a criminal breaks in your house, according to Democrats, remember the Democrat from Texas, you should cower down and just give them what they want. But not them. No. See, they get protected. Man, when are y'all guys going to live up to this hypocrisy that's going on in the Democrat Party? This is the new Nazi party. And the only thing worse than a Nazi is a Nazi collaborator. Okay. Ocasio-Cortez falsely accused Senator Ted Cruz of trying to get me killed. That she wouldn't attend President Joe Biden's inauguration because she didn't feel safe around Republicans and has demanded the removal of Republicans in the House and Senate. So, my people, let me know what you think of this. So, she wasn't even there. So this is gaslighting. Gaslighting. And that's all she's doing. So, to me, she's a ridiculous woman who shouldn't be in office. But she's good at her job. Her job is to draw eyes to her, and that's what she does. Because I feel like this. Hey, New York, if she's going to get rid of tens of thousands of jobs. Remember the whole Amazon thing? If she's going to get rid of tens of thousands of jobs because she doesn't feel they're appropriate, and they're going to harm the community in a district that wasn't even hers, and you're still going to vote for her, then you get what you deserve. That's kind of where I am now. You know what I'm saying? Something else. One more thing. So, I promised you in an earlier video, I think the video before this one, so 2 videos ago. If you have friends who are liberals that voted for Joe Biden, the number to the ATF is 1-800-800-3855. When these new gun laws go through, please report them immediately. If they're busy taking their guns, they won't be able to take ours. So as always, like, subscribe, share. Do what you got to do.